Well, the one part about renting that sucks is you are attached to the landlord a couple months after you leave the apartment, because usually you have to put a security deposit down. And depending on the situation you have with the landlord, you may not get that back immediately when you move out. You may need to wait a month or 2 months after they calculate all the utility bills. If they're not in your name, they do the inspection. And there's a lag in you getting your deposit money back. And obviously, when you start renting for someone, there's an upfront cost. So there's an extra level of entanglement that renting has versus being a full-time nomad living in your car, van, or RV and staying at campgrounds. Because when you stay at a campground, there's no deposit. Now, if you stay at an RV park, there may be a security deposit for the utilities. But all the campgrounds I've been to and being part of the Thousand Trails camping package, there's no deposit. And I like that non-attached, free life with maximum flexibility. I like never having a utility bill. Like, one thing about being a nomad versus being a renter or owning a property, as I like that I can plug into the electrical campsite, into the electrical outlet at the campsite, and never have to worry about electrical bill. You can run air conditioning, you can run heat, whether it's through your extension cord or through an RV. Once you're hooked up to that electrical circuit at your campground, you never have to pay for it. You never have to pay for the water. You never have to pay for sewer. You never have to pay for cable. That non-attached, free life is what still to this day gets me excited. Now, even though I live a very primitive life and I suffer a little bit for that lack of amenity and comfort, I'm still young enough where I get excited enough about not being entangled with security deposits, loans, utility bills, property taxes, etc. And for a lot of people who live the nomad life, they're living because they want to live on the cheap, they have bad credit, or they don't have any money in savings. So a security deposit for renting a place, it's not feasible for them. It's not practical. They don't have the money. You can't get blood from a stone. If someone ain't got the money, you ain't going to get it. So how do you get by? Well, guys, be a nomad. You get yourself a cheap little travel trailer to pull, or go in a van, run an extension cord to your van or your car, and you stay at a campground. All utilities are included. And you never have to worry about being entangled with a landlord or a loan or a bank. And that's something that still gets me excited and inspired. And I find that comforting to my mind and obviously to my wallet. Living cheap is addictive. Living on your terms is addictive. Guys, I stayed at this campsite yesterday, or past 2 days. Part of my Thousand Trails package, I pay $600 for the entire year. All my utilities, everything included, $600 for the year. Most people pay more than that just in property taxes. Now, look, all the locations of the campsites aren't perfect, etc., but $600 for the entire year for your housing cost? Stay at the campsite. I had bathrooms. I was able to plug into electrical outlet at the campsite. And I had a safe, legal place to park with no security deposit, no utility bills. And right now, there's not a lot of people at the campsite, so I really had no neighbors. And if I did have bad neighbors or I didn't like the campground, I could always leave. And leaving like this, without worrying about a security deposit, without worrying about selling my house and contacting a real estate agent, without having to shut off my utility bills, damn it, that makes me excited. Okay. So I'm not saying the nomad life is perfect. If you're elderly or injured, it could be a disaster. But it's an alternative way to live that can get you around the system in many ways. You can't get out of the system because, life is a series of systems, no matter what system you're in. But you can live a little bit more of life on your terms, be a little bit freer, have less expenses. You may have a little bit more discomfort, traveling and finding locations and not always being settled, not having everything at your fingertips. That could be a little bit of an issue. But I like living free, living light, not having a lot of entanglements. Damn it, I get excited about that still after 3 years full-time on the road. 3 years ago, sold my house, sold all my belongings. Live on my Jeep Renegade. I go from campground to campground, stealth park or whatever. And I would short-term rent if I had to, Airbnb style. But I'm just thankful. And I want to share this with you. I'm not saying this lifestyle's for everyone. But what I'm sharing with you, one is, if you're broke, okay, you're always going to need money. But if you got some money and you got a job, but you're struggling, research, consider the option of the nomad life, okay? And live your life, Live your life. I can't give everyone the exact answer. And I have to dial it back for the end of this video here, because I don't want to oversell you on the nomad life, because there's suffering involved, especially like if you have an emergency like the coronavirus or a health scare. So I don't want to mislead you. But I also want to share with you some sincere passion and excitement about living more of your life on your terms, however you're going to figure that out. But the nomadic life, whether, again, a cheap RV that's fully self-contained, a car or van, or whatever, is an alternative way of living that can, if planned, if researched, keep your expenses low, keep your flexibility high, and allow you to navigate life and just live more on your terms to try to enjoy it as best you can. And that's what I wanted to share in this video. I hope you appreciated it. It helped you, inspired you, and encouraged you. If it did, I appreciate if you click the thumbs up and consider joining the channel, be part of my members-only chat, and just be part of the supporters channel. I appreciate that. Thank you for everyone who watches. There's an entire playlist on my YouTube channel, check it out, of different phases of my life. But I've documented for 3 years living on the road, documented what it takes to move to Florida, life lessons that I've learned, and a variety of things. So I appreciate everyone who subscribes. I appreciate all my viewers, all my members. Thank you, and thank you. God bless you. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love.